So, hi, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, just say yes, message on the chat window. We're waiting here. I'm audible. Okay, great. So, good one. Without wasting any time, let's just uh, start that quiz. I hope you all are doing good and enjoying. Wonderful. So, use this code. Hero Shark. So, I think it's all done. So waiting for one more minute to join more people. If and please do not join again and again. I mean, it's one time. It's all fine, right? So around 29 players. So today we are going to start new, pretty new topic, and that will be definitely going to help developers actually in getting the new way of working in container, right? So I'm about to start this game. Okay, one, two, three. Before saying yes or go, one, two, three, go. Okay, have fun. So this is question number one. Probably you're getting this question repeatedly, but not a problem. Last 2 seconds. Good, very good. So controller cannot be rebooted because it has only a single process, right? Uh, so 24 correct answers, sorry. Jai Shri Ram. Wow. Iron Man. And the next is right here. Oh my god. Seriously? Still 3, 4, 7, 8 people are giving wrong answers. 2375 port number we are using since day one. And still 128080. Don't say that. See, since day one we are using this docker underscore host, and that port number if not activated, I can tell you here. See, what is the port number we are using in the last? It's 2375. Okay, so this the port number we are using every day. Still people are, you know, very random. Anyway, so before, okay, good. Next question. Good one. So 24 right answers. How you start a child program in a running container. So the right answer is this. Let's see the rankings. Patrat, good one. Good job, guys. Probably out of syllabus, but still. Nice. So Docker Compose you can use to write JSON language, that compose file. Although we are going to discuss this topic today, so Docker Compose we are going to discuss today, how and why and when. So we'll be discussing today, but still this you can guess some questions, right? So 15th, sorry, 15 is the correct answer. I mean, Jason is the correct answer. 15 people have given the same. And next, there is a happiness in life. Wow. Okay, 12 correct answers. No worries. But 3.7 is the most latest version and stable for compose file. The page is giving, 5 correct answers in a row. Good one, the page. Not a container orchestration tool. Pum 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 pum. Okay, so Amazon Orchestrator. There is nothing like that, Amazon Orchestrator, by the way. But every single tool like Swarm, Kubernetes, and AKS, they are container orchestration tool. So we're going to talk, maybe not today, but day after tomorrow, we'll be talking about container orchestration tool. And yes, so the default Docker registry is Docker Hub, right? From where we are actually pulling the images. So we have discussed about the same yesterday. So I hope I'm expecting for maximum correct answers. Wonderful. And thank you so much that you remember three networks are available by default in Docker. And if you just miss that, how we can check? So let me remove all other networks that is not by default. So I can simply show you like this: Docker network, Docker network, ls-q. Why it is not removing? Maybe I can just Docker network ls. So 1, 2, and 3. These three networks are available by default. We are going to get a glimpse maybe about creating a network in Docker. Nice. So although this is not in our agenda, we are not going to use that. So if you want to create network in Docker, you can use this Docker network create and let's say Ashutosh bridge. Once you do that, this new network with the name got created. And this will be, getting an automatic IP address. So if I'll show you Docker network inspect and here, so you can see here, this is automatically assigned by Docker daemon. So if you want to create a new network, that is the method. And if you want to delete it again, sorry, rm and right there. So we are not going to use that because there is no use of creating new network as of now. But yes, you can do it like that. So first is the correct answer. Good. Nice. So we have discussed about the same last day. We can use a Docker network by using -f network option in the run command, not in the network command, right? So the second, that blue one, is the right answer. Nice. Good job, Anandita. So Docker tag in its name, and this is the way. Anyway, so I think we haven't discussed about the same years. So ZZ. Okay. So the right answer is only Docker proxy. I don't know. This is by mistakenly ticked by me, but the right answer is Docker proxy. There is nothing like any component of Docker. Okay. Final question. Nice, good job. So 18 correct answers. You can check log of a container. Let me revise it for you. So for example, if I'm running a container that is running in background, and I'm gonna just give some command, or then I'm giving some name for convenience of my own, and the container is running. Let's say if I want to see the output, what is the output generating by this container right now, so I can just use docker logs and the container name. So see, number of times Docker can ping. If I can use one more, so this is live. I can, if I want to capture Docker logs live, I can put -f. So it will be keep showing me that logs in the same way, right? Another thing is like, it doesn't matter container is running or not. So if I run container like in this way, it hyphen name OK2 Alpine and cal 2020. So okay, sorry, Alpine cal 2020. Then I know the container is gone after this cal 2020, but by using Docker logs, I can check for the non-running container as well, that yes, what was the output, right? If I rerun the container again, that means if I start the container again, so it is going to produce the same output, right? But this output can only be displayed by logs, so twice. Okay, all right, wonderful. So this is the one that you can use. So let's see the final rankings. Nice. So ZZ for happiness and Amita and Dipesh, congratulations to all of you guys, and enjoy. Fine. So there are some announcements for tomorrow session, right? Some announcements that you can remember. Okay. So announcements are something like this. Tomorrow around the same time we have exams, right? It's a kind of Docker exam that is a combination of, you know, only performance based, or the combination of few multiple choice question, multiple choice, and performance based, right? So you'll be getting a time of 5 to 7:30. So it's a 2.5 hour exam, 2.30 hours, I can say, right? And you don't have to do anything there. So I'll be posting a video around 4:50, and from there you have to appear for the exam, right? So the performance based exam, you don't have to perform in your own system. You have to log in my AWS uh, Docker. So the details will be given, and whatever answer you find, or you just derived by your as per the questions, so you have to submit it on your GitHub and comment in that video, right? And the comment must be after 7:30, within, after 7:30, and that must be, so let's say if you have done with your exam, answer is done, so 7:30 will be your end time, and maximum 7:40 or 7:35, I can say. This timeline is only the acceptable timeline of your comment. So if you do comment after 30 and before 35, that means you have 5 minutes to comment your answer on the video. So if you're commenting after 5 minutes, that will not be acceptable at all, right? So prepare everything, internet connection and whatever you have, because we don't have much bandwidth to accept your answers, right? So I think 5 minute time is good. Uh, yeah, the server is not running yet, but let me ask you, right? That you're getting the point, right? You have to submit in between 30 to 35 only. So if you get the point, just say yes on the chat window. Still, if you have some doubt, you can ask right now. My lab is not in ready state as of now, so I have to start lab again. That's why it's not connecting. So just say yes or no message in the chat window if you are getting the point that I'm trying to say. Yes, yes. So there will be only examination. So and if you have any query, any doubt, you can ask me right now. Wonderful. So you all are getting. I hope you will be ready for the same because number of questions not decided yet, trust me, but you'll get that number of questions according to the time of 2.30 hours. So the level will be a medium, right? So when the level is medium, that means I don't know how many questions I'm gonna prepare for you, but it will be medium level, and it's a kind of open Google exam. You can Google about this. I cannot stop from doing that. Okay, so let me log in my server and then turn on that firewall rule. So SSH-I. Yes, for your practice purpose, labs will be open tonight, right? So I'm writing here for your convenience after 10 p.m. to 2 p.m., right? So 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. to a.m. actually, not p.m. Labs will be open, will be running, I can say. Yes, Rhythm. But if you use 1 GB RAM and 1 core CPU only, and the next instance, free one. So I'm logging here. What is the problem? The instance is not in ready state. Right. So Docker daemon is running as of now, but it is not accepting any further connection. So status Docker, yes, and why it is not accepting because of the firewall. And input -p TCP 2375 and -j accept. Okay, now I hope now you can try. Yes, we can do, but not in my case. We can turn off and on instance from the terminal itself. Okay, so let me now connect. Docker images. Yes, so now you guys can connect. This is your instance that is now ready, and you can connect it definitely. Fine. So nothing to worry about the same. Now instance you can connect if you want to. So let's start topic for today, and let me discuss that agenda, what we are going to do. My system is a bit slow, but okay. So as of now, let's discuss the agenda first. So today we are going to use, or we are going to study about few points. First of all, about uh, one more Docker file point, and then how to push image on Docker Hub, right? Specifically sharing your image here, and then we're gonna use Docker storage. Okay. After Docker storage, we are going to use Docker Compose today. We'll be starting. All right. So this is agenda for today. Right. So I'm gonna show you a demo of Docker file again, just for let me just for how to use Java code in Docker file and create your own image. Let me take a screenshot of the same, because maybe I can miss a point. So I'm taking this one, and in pictures I'm gonna open it. All right. So I want to show you a slide actually, where we can just see a few more points about Docker. So let me check here. It was shared for Cisco. So about containers, this is again an PPT. You can find it from Google if you want. And about Docker is the most challenging DevOps tools these days. It's landscape, and I'm just starting from not here. This is application and developer issues and couple of things, but I really want to start from here, not from here, not from here. Yes, from here. So if you talk about the container, right, the history of container is really old, right? So before Docker even, there was a container. Although I have already discussed with the same about the same thing. So in 2014, Solaris container was there, and this Zoom Technologies introduced that container. Then in 2008, Linux containers came in picture, and in 2013, Solomon Hykes start a Docker project as an internal with the company called .cloud. And in 2013 March, Docker first version was released as an open source. Okay. Now in Feb we got Docker Enterprise Edition, and today we are using Docker in a very wide way. So it's the very long journey for Docker. This is very old PDF, right? But incredible growth in just in 4 years. I don't know how old this is, but incredible growth. And Nubi is a company who is actually managing a couple of things for Docker. So now we have Docker Enterprise Edition and Docker Community Edition, where production grade container can be delivered in both way, right? And we are using Docker Community Edition 19.03, and the same thing we know already. how we're going to use operating system, application, container, and hypervisor. All these things we have already discussed, so there is no point of doing that. But the container is actually look like this. So here the major share of operating system like here. So now the container for Java, for .NET, for other Alpine, and that is running under the same kernel, right? Compared with the VMN container that we already understand, and a couple of benefits and couple of simple things are here. So about Docker basics, you know about the images, container, engine, registry. Control plane is not discussed yet. Even we will be not discussing that too. The reason behind that it's a part of Docker Enterprise, but rest all 1, 2, 3, 4 things we know, right? So nothing to. I think it's all done, right? So in a couple of IT company, they produce service in cloud that we call it container as a service. We can build and ship and run container and manage in a couple of way. Okay, I'm closing that. Wanted to show that history actually, right? So now the first agenda is Docker file, and this is for your Java code. So let's say I'm gonna create a folder in my desktop. Okay, so okay, a question that I get from Rhythm, where Docker we are using in production environment. So let me tell you, Docker in real world, right? So if I'll share the application, the big example is Just Pay. This is a payment gateway app. Another big example is Netflix. So Netflix user experience is handled by Docker and containers. Another big example is Spotify music app, right? And these days, any BI tools we are using on top of containers. Netflix recommendation is very big thing, right? And YouTube, some part of YouTube application is running on container. Even some part of PUBG user experience is also running in container, because containers are really easy to scale. Let's say if PUBG user is increasing from 10,000 to 1 lakhs maybe, right? So we can create number of container on fly in a second. So every user will get a personalized experience so that they can. So there are so many big vendors in the market. Even Cisco is using router. So in a container you can run a router, right? That will be working as a firewall or distributed computing, and so many things are there. So it's not the only one thing. Even the most amazing thing is your Kahoot or application like Kahoot is also running in a container, right? So Kahoot is very much containerized based approach, right? Or any registration link. So you can use your a couple of things here. Okay, so I hope you get the answer, Radham. Now moving here, just to use. So now I'm going to show you an example of running or building Java based Docker image. Java based Docker image. right? So let me follow the same structure. Okay, not exactly Google Colab. Google Colab need a lot of things that I don't know. Maybe it's running. So I need to create a folder first, a folder, and here I have to put my Java code, and the Java code can be .java or .jar file or .var file. Any kind of Java code you can use in a folder. But to use .jar and var, we generally need Apache Tomcat server. So that is a different story, but I'm just about to show how to execute your Java program in a container. So I have this case here, and I'm going to create a folder. Let's say my Java code, and here I already have program written in Java. So that is your normal code, simple hello world, or that is a hello world, right? So you can just convert in a infinite loop if you want, but it's all fine, right? Hello world, infinite loop, and the class name is Devops. So let me copy that code in the here. I'm also opening my terminal and gonna write Docker file. So Docker file, and here I'm gonna use from Java. So I'm gonna use Java Docker image from Docker Hub. Then I'm gonna use maintainer, right, in a small letter itself, maintainer, and my email address. Here, right now, I can use env keyword. Let's say class underscore name is equals to DevOps. So as of now, I'm using an environment variable. It's not necessary to implement it right now, but I'm just using it. Maybe for future, I can change the class name and I can use that accordingly. But it's very much optional and will be using for future. Okay, now I'm using add to just copy this devops.java under slash, let's say, opt, or if I don't want to copy in some existing location, I can use run instruction to make a directory slash codes, and I can copy in codes by the name of devops.java. Okay, so this is the one. Here, first of all, now I need to write a step to compile code, right? That means creating a JVM kind of code, or I can say byte code. Okay, so because once we copied that, we are going to do the same. I'm changing directory like work dir and changing it to slash codes. So my current location is here. Okay, then how we do that? So I'm using a run instruction. Java C is a command in any of the operating system to compile your Java code. So let's say devops.java. Because my current working directory is slash codes now, I don't have to write path at all. So this devops.java is here. So uh, copying this line, pasting here. Okay. Now under cmd instruction, I'm gonna write Java and space class name. I hope you do understand how to run Java code. We need to use Java int compiler space class name, right? Class name. And the class name as of now for me is this. The class name is Devops itself. It can be anything. So generally we are preferring the way the class name, if very much equivalent to file name, it will be great. So Devops is a class name in my case. So I'm using this one. Okay. So how many of you are having confusion in between CMD and entry point? So let me write this question. How many of you are confused between CMD and entry point? So are you guys are confused? If yes or no, just give your opinion in the chat window of YouTube. Are you confused with CMD and entry point? Just do it very fastly. Give me answer in yes or no. Are you confused? So for Harsh, no. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, 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 guys. So before anything, let me tell you, right? So I'm gonna show you that another demo, mkdir/confusion, and please make it clear right now, right? So let's say I'm gonna create a Docker file, okay? And here I'm using from instruction alpine alpine, right? And maintainer Ashutosh. Okay. Now let me just write cmd thing here. So I'm using cmd and I'm using cal command. Okay. So I'm gonna build this image for myself. So this is my Docker file, cmd and cal. Let me build that. So Docker build -t cmd confuse version 1 dot. So context what Docker file from maintainer cmd. Okay. So Docker build. All right. So what I did, I just created uh, a new Docker image from this one, right? So my image name is this. So first of all, let me tell you, if I'm using cmd and some argument, that means if I'm going to create a container from this one, then if I'm not giving any of the command here, let's say if I'm giving some command, it will be running this command and under the container. But if I'm not giving anything, it will run this command, okay, here. So in the very last, after the name of Docker image, if I'm giving something, it is running date command. If I'm not giving something, it is running the one that I have given under cmd. Okay. Now If I replace this CMD with entry point, alright, the entry point, and let me create a new image version 2, version 2. Now I have two images. So you can see the difference now. Let's say I'm running this command version 1, and if I'm not giving anything, it is running CAD command, but I'm giving something, it is running whatever I'm giving here. Okay, but in case of version 2, if I'm not giving anything here, it is running CAD command, and even if I'm giving something as well, it will still run CAD command. See, I'm giving this, or I'm giving ping fb.com, it will still run cal. I hope now you get the difference. So the difference is, if in the Docker file you have used entry point as a default parameter, so this command will always be running. It doesn't matter whatever you are passing as an argument in the last. It will ignore every single thing. It will only run the one that is written. So that means once you have a program and you want that program to be, run always by default, use this entry point. But if you use CMD here, you can replace like this. So if you get the difference now, say yes or no. Okay, so I hope now there will be no confusion regarding the same. So type yes or no. But if you got it, no confusion. So just comment in the chat section that you don't have any confusion as of now. No confusion, no. All clear, maybe. Good, wonderful. So likewise, make it very clear, right? In everywhere, if there is a confusion, there is a chance of bug. So good. Now I can proceed here in my Docker file. So here, Docker file in Java code. So I'm gonna open it again, and Docker file. So what I have written, just from Java image, ignore this for now, created directory, copied code, and then change directory. This is a compilation step, or I can say converting the code into the byte code. And now CMD is, just running that code here. So let me just build that image. So Docker build -t Java code version 1, or let's say project 1. Let's say task 1. So if you have a couple of Java code, and now I'm building that image. See, so I got this image built successfully. Now if I run container from here, it-remove, and I'm not passing anything else, so it will take my program, and see, hello world is just running in infinite while loop, because the program is itself having infinite while loop. So likewise, whatever .java code you have, and I can just hit Control C. Okay, so we can simply use that to maintain and manage, right? So this is a sample demo or example of how you run Java code in general, right? So I hope you are getting it now. Good. Okay, so add versus copy. So I got one more question. So what is the difference between add and copy? So by default, if you use copy or add, both can take data from current location. First thing, from current location. Both can take data from current location. Let's say this or this. So it doesn't matter, right? But it can copy data from current location. So let's say in my case, I have Java code here and Docker file here in a current location. So here I can use add or copy both, right? But if this code is not present here, this code is in some URL. So let's say sample Java code in GitHub. Okay, I hope I can just get it. I need only Java code, not JSP. Sample Java code in GitHub. But in some URL. What the hell? Let's assume that the sample Java code is in GitHub. So if the Java code is not present in the current location, so I can copy that URL. I'm not using the same, and I can put the URL here. Let's say devops.java, if it was right. So in the add keyword, you can give a URL in a source, it will copy there, right? But in copy keyword, you cannot use URL. I hope it's all fine for now. So add is supporting URL, but copy is not supporting any URL, right? Piyush, you get it? So just say yes or fine for this message that you are getting the point, or you are understanding the same. Okay, so if you get it, just type. Okay, wonderful. So now this was a demo of Docker file. Now whatever Java code you have, you can write it down here. Okay, so same, I think about Python code I have already discussed how to run a Python code, and let me give you a demo for, I can say, sample Python Flask code. I can take from here any sample Python code. Yes, so I'm taking this, or maybe I can just take it from here. Yeah, it's all fine. Okay, so if I have sample, I'm gonna create Python Flask. and I'm gonna write here, let's say code dot py and paste, right? I'm running here post is equals to 0.0.0.0. Okay, so we need to have this. Now I'm creating a Docker file here. Same from Python maintainer. Yeah. So whosoever, if you don't know about Python, so in Python, if you want to create web app, so either you can use Django or Flask. So these are the replacement of each other. So either you can Python Django or Python Flask, right? So like we use Django, use Flask. Flask is also simple and used by a couple of companies. So, so about Django, you guys are understanding, right? Django and Flask. So they both are compatible. Yes, wonderful. So Shutosh, and then I'm copying two things: requirement dot txt and run to mkdir slash codes, and copying, or maybe I can use add dot to slash codes. Now work dir slash codes. Now run again, pip install hyphen r requirements dot txt, and then under cmd python space code dot py. Okay, so what I'm going to use in requirement.txt. So if you see here in this website, to run Python code, you need to install Flask. So what I can do here, whatever I want to install in the directory, so I can just create one more file. We call it requirements. I think I can take the same name, right? And Flask. I hope the typing is pretty correct. F capital. Fine. So in the same scenario, what I did. So I have this requirement.txt. In Python, whatever modules you want to install, you can just write here. Let's say if you also need a numpy, right, or anything, so you can write here if it is required. So Docker file has dot means whatever we have in the current, and then install requirements.txt, and I'm using docker ignore because I don't want to copy Docker file over there in everything, because see, if I use dot, that means it is going to copy every single thing here. Okay, so I hope it's all good. Now let me just docker build fronty flask version 1 dot. So it is actually installing Flask and NumPy both. So it is actually trying to install, but maybe getting connection timeout error. Could be a reason of internet, possibly. So I'm getting this network connection error. So there is a temporary network connection error. It's not a problem of Docker file, by the way. So let's retry it. I can just cross check like that. Docker run hyphen hyphen rm it python and bash. Okay, so pip install flask. It's the internet connection is very slow for this. Okay, why it is so slow? Let me connect. Just connecting. So if I use ping google.com, why it is not connecting? So that means internet is not working in the container. That's the problem. No. So there is some problem with the internet, right? Let me do it in my local system. So possibly there could be some. So what I'm doing, I'm just doing it in my local machine. I'll fix this issue in Amazon Cloud. So I am just using in my local connection. Yes. So this is, I think this is my local connection, right? Echo dollar docker underscore host. No. Docker images. Yes. So I'm using this in my local system again. So here I'll fix that one, why that is happening. So docker build -t and flask v1 dot. Yeah, maybe AWS Geo plan got expired. So I'm doing it in my local machine just by uh, unsetting that variable docker host. Extracting this. Mhm. I think Python image is too big. It's taking time to download. Let's wait for that. Yes. So now maintainer and creating directory, workflowing, and is now running, installing Flask, numpty. So waiting for this to verify all the packages. Yes, it got. So now if I run, actually I have to use one more thing, because you know what, Python Flask is using a 5000 port number by default, right? So if you run it, 5000 port number. So what I have to do here, I have to rebuild that Docker file, and I have to expose 5000 port. Okay, then I have to override that file again. All right, now let me run that one. So run -itd and -p 11234 in 5000. So docker ps, yes. So 1234. If I use localhost 234, yeah. So we're getting this hello world. Yeah, same. So about Django, you can use the same thing in CMD, how you want to run it. Okay. So it doesn't matter now. So in short, we have this page running, and you can use that simply. So this is your sample Flask file. Likewise, you can use Docker to use, sorry, to run your Django applications. Anyway, so this was your ending for Docker file. Now the second thing, we are going to use Docker Hub, right? So if let's say if I'm a developer here and I have built a Docker image as per my own need. I build that Docker image as per my own need. If there is another developer in this world, let's say you are building in your college and there is someone who want to use this image. So how you share your own image with him or with them, whosoever want to use. So for this purpose, Docker registries got created. So what we can do, this is your Docker hub, right? And here you can push your image. Then another user who want to use, he can pull the image, right? So you can push and another user can pull. So to push image on Docker Hub, you need to create account on Docker Hub. So how you create account? So I'm just showing you in my incognito mode. So type Docker Hub and then go here, and then you can create your account in Docker Hub. Make sure you are giving the right and unique ID, email address, and password. So once you create account on Docker Hub, this and this, verify your email address by just checking the email, because once you sign up here, one verification email will be sent to you by Docker Hub itself. Verify that and then log in. Once you verify, you can log in. So it's your job how you gonna which email address you're gonna use to do the show. Okay, so once you get it, you can log in. So let me check here. If I'm gonna log in on Docker Hub, I'm just log in here, right? So once you log in, you can check on the right hand top corner. This will be your Docker ID, right? This will be Docker ID, and this will be all the images that you have till now, right? So I have a couple of images here, but this is Docker ID. So let's say if I want to push my Docker my image. So for example, I am having this Docker image in my local system, right? Maybe all these images, right? And then I want to push that image confusion version 1 or version 2. So what I have to do, first of all, to push Docker image on Docker Hub, I need to tag it properly, right? So there is a rule. So let's say I want to push confusion version 2 image, cmd confusion version 2. So what I have to do first, I have to use Docker tag cmd confusion version 2. See, why we have to tag? Because you know that this image name can be given by anybody in this world. So here you have to use your image, and then here you have to write this Docker ID, this one. So Docker Ashu. So my Docker ID is Docker Ashu, then forward slash the name of the image colon tag. If you don't want to give any tag, if you don't want to give anything, it will take latest by default, that you know, because it will take latest by default, but I want to give it like the same. So once I hit, my new Docker image got created. So I can show you here by Docker images. Yes, I get it. So new Docker image got created. Once you have this new Docker image, right, like this, what you have to do, you have to just do Docker login first. Once you do Docker login, you have to, if it is not, so it was login already. So once you do Docker login, it will be asking for your credentials. So Docker ID and the password. See, ID and password. It got successfully logged in. Now you can use the same image to push. Remember, you have to push your Docker image by the name of your Docker ID and the image name, and if there is a tag. Once I use push command, it is now take your image and push it on Docker Hub. I can refresh my uh, portal and I can see here, yes. So Docker Ashu CMD confusion version 1, right? And if I click here, you can check I got this version 2. I can see all the tags and how I can pull this. So they have given the command. So I have, if I want to pull it, so same command, docker pull and the image name. So here the image name must be alongside user. Okay. Once you push it, just do docker logout. Make sure your account is not logged in anymore, because anybody can, just use your credential. So docker tag, docker login, docker push, docker logout, right? So this is the step for sharing your docker image on docker hub. So docker hub is free forever as of now, is free. Okay, so if you get it, that means if you got the idea of pushing docker image into docker hub, so anybody can pull it. Just say yes in the chat window, so I can just proceed for a new topic. I'm gonna take one more topic finally. Right. So waiting for the messages, just say yes in the chat window that you got it and you understand it well. Pushing image on docker hub. Still, if you have some question, please do ask. So I got 3 messages, 4, 5. Okay, wonderful. So this is the way to push your image on Docker Hub. Now one final topic for the day. It's not the big one, but that is Docker storage. Okay, so Docker storage is divided into two categories. And why we need to use that Docker storage, I'll share the exact use case. So one for Docker engine, another for containers. Okay, another for containers. Now our main focus is to assign storage for containers, not for Docker engine. But I really want to tell you in what cases you can give a storage to Docker engine, right? So by default, Docker engine is reading and writing data, everything under this location. I hope you remember that. So that is var lib Docker. So whatever image, container, network, volume you are going to create in the containers by Docker engine, it will be storing here, right? It will be storing here everything. But let's say for some reason I really don't want to store my any of the Docker related data here. So if I'm a storage engineer, I'm taking my pen drive, this is my PD or my hard disk, fine, and I want to store all the container related data from now onwards in my hard disk or in my pen drive. So that means rather than storing here, I want my Docker engine to store my data in my hard disk or pen drive. So that is the point of you know using Docker storage for Docker engine. We are not going to discuss that. Maybe that could be a question for you in tomorrow examination. But I'm giving you just an idea that you can convince your Docker engine to store or to change the storage from here to here. So I'm not going to discuss this as of now because probably this could be a kind of question for tomorrow. But I'm going to talk about the storage for container only, right? So now if you think that containers are really fast and really cool and everything is working under a controlled situation, that is a perfect thought, right? But containers are ephemeral in nature. Containers are ephemeral, right, in nature. So that means, or I can say non-persistent. Non-persistent. That means if from a Docker image you create a container and this container is going to generate some data, right? So, and that data is definitely stored under the container. And due to any reason you delete the container, once you delete the container, the data generated by the container will be lost. Okay. So if you don't want to lose the data even after removal of the container, you can use Docker storage in a container. So that this logic we call it Docker volume, right? Now Docker volume is something, let's say from this Docker image, you just created a container and the container is running a program called cal, and cal output is getting stored in the container itself. If you destroy this container, the output generated by the program will be deleted. So you're not worrying about container because container are really lightweight, fast. We can recreate it in few seconds. But what if I want to store this data persistently? So what I can do, I can take an external storage, right? And the storage can be a file, a socket file, a hard disk, or a folder, right? And I can attach this storage in the container externally, and I can ask my program to store data here. So even if you delete the container, it doesn't matter. If you delete the container can the output by the container will be stored in any of the location, right? So deletion and creation container is not a problem for Docker engine because it will take less than a second to delete or recreate a container. But the data that you just lost it is not possible to recover it after deletion of the container. So that's why Docker volume concept came in picture. Okay. So if you get the logic of Docker volume, just say yes, you get it in the chat window. I can definitely show you a demo for the same, and then we can wrap it up session for today. Okay. So looking for your response in the chat window. If you are understanding the same, just say yes in the chat window. Wonderful. Right. So containers are really ephemeral in nature, and that's why we need. All right. Fine. So now let me show you a demo for the same. So for now, if I'm gonna create a container by the name of my container one from Alpine image, and I'm gonna use this container. Okay, and yes, what is this happening? Okay, I got this right. Now here in the under the container, if I create some data, let's say okay Google, two directories, right? I'm creating some file, let's say file and 1 to 100 dot txt. So okay, it is not getting created, no worries, sometimes it's not working. So I'm creating 100 files for the just demo purpose, and do touch abc $i.txt, right, and done. So 100 files got created. Okay, this is the all data that I'm generating right now, and I can generate one more. I'm just using cal 2020 calendar, and I'm gonna store it in a output.txt file in the container itself. Remember, everything that I'm doing right now, it is inside container, right? So because container can have a program, and program can generate data as per the needs. If I exit from this container, so now I'm out of container, and let me remove that, because we can remove containers. So once I remove that, even if I recreate the same container with the same name, the data is no more present here. All right, see, nothing. That's why I'm saying, if you destroy container, whatever data or whatever output or xyz things generated by container will be lost. Okay, now here you can plan it before, because we're not worrying about container, we are worrying about data. Okay, so I can just think about docker volume. So how do I create a volume? So I can use docker volume command to create Ashutosh vol1. Okay, so this is gonna create a volume in my docker engine. So docker volume ls, right? So I have this Ashutosh vol1. Now once I create this volume like this time during the container runtime of the same, I can use hyphen volume option to attach my volume under my container, and I can create a folder, let's say my important data. So how we are attaching this volume actually? So this volume will be mounted under this folder in this Alpine container. So this folder, you have to give a very much unique name, because it is going to create by this docker volume. So that means what, whenever you attach a volume, docker engine will create this folder inside this container. Now every data that you want to, or you don't want to lose, or you want to make it persistent, just store here. So I'm just hitting enter. Oh my god, so my container 2. Okay, and this is how I'm just thinking. Okay, now here I can see my important data got created. If I go there, there is nothing found, all empty. But let me create something. Hello world, this is really cool. Okay, and I can create like hello. Maybe if it's gonna work here, I don't know, not working. So let me create another for I in and a sequence of 50 files, and let's say touch docker $i.txt. Done. So we got these many files, and even I am just writing cal 2020 command in a Julian calendar way, and I'm gonna store it like cal j.txt. Fine. So it's all cool. And if I come out of this container and let me remove that, and removing the container. Yes, Rhythm, we can access. So if I remove that container, actually nothing to worry, because see, if I recreate this container again, okay, if I recreate this container again and I go there in my important data, voila, everything is here, right? Even if, right, if I want to create another container that says docker run it hyphen name my container 3 hyphen v wall 1. I'm going to mount it like under slash ashutosh by java container, right? So if I want this same data in another container by another image, so I can simply hit enter, and in another container from another image, if you see Ashutosh folder, we got data here. The most amazing thing is, if I do create something here, it will be also accessed here, reflected there, right? That means creating container is not a problem at all. Okay, so that's how we can just check. All right, so we can use the same volume to mount every time. All right, and so where exactly this volume got created? So this volume got created in docker host, in docker engine, right? And where, under var lib docker, there is a folder called volumes, right? So if you want to see that, what you can do, docker volume inspect, and the name of volume you can see here in your var lib docker volumes under the name of ashwal1 and underscore data. So in this location, your all the data getting stored in the docker host machine, right? Right. So the syntax, I hope you get it. Hyphen v, then the name of volume colon where you want to mount under your container. So this is the name of volume. This is a mount point inside container. So this volume will be attached under this. Okay. So if you got this point, just say yes in the chat window, how to create a volume and how to mount it under Docker container. And we can mount these volume in different containers. The size of volume will be the size of operating system slash. So whatever slash size will be, it will be same as. Okay, waiting for your comments. Just do it very quickly, although we are running out of time. Should say 1:20 almost. I hope you're not having any problem. So I got two messages yet. Okay, wonderful. Now, as I told you that not even a folder, so you can folder mount, you can hard disk, socket, and file. Okay, so you can share a folder as well. Let's say if I want to share a folder called /etc of my container of my host to there. So what it is going to happen, so it will be mounting this folder under this. So I can now show you again, right? And I got it, right? If I can show you the file has so many things. Okay, so many things, right? So just want to tell you, you can also mount a folder inside the container, right? This is a folder, and make sure this folder is not from my system, right? Don't even get confused. So if this is your Docker host and this is your container, so let's say if you have some folder ./etc, or you have some folder like /root, or you have some folder like /usr, so in the host machine, so this will be mounted under container by using -v. This is not my system folder, this is of Docker engine folder here. So whatever it will be there, it will be mounted like this. So -v folder name. Yes, Tej, we can fix the size. So what you can do, Tej, you can create a partition, mount it under somewhere, and that partition you can mount. Okay. Now, final thing, I can also share some particular 5 in the container by some name. So if I want to mount some file, I can write the file name and I want to mount here. So it has my not using it. Okay. So I'm mounting this file from the host to container like this. So once you see here under this, os.txt file is here, and what is in the os.txt, it's the name of or version. So rather than just mounting a folder, you can also mount a file from the host machine to the container, right? So this is something that you can do. So this is all about your Docker volume. We will be having couple of questions from Docker volume tomorrow, in tomorrow exam, sorry. So Docker volume is done. If you have any questions, please do ask, because I'm about to end this session. Yes, Piyush. The size is same as the host. So whatever size you have under slash, it will be taking entire size. Otherwise, you can create partitions and mount it under host, and those partitions you can just get it. So guys, finally looking for Docker volume is done. If you get uh, this topic, I mean, if you are all cool, all done, just type yes and say goodbye to me for now, at least for today. And please prepare yourself for tomorrow exam. And one more thing, finally, you can mount more than one volume. So just if you want to mount more than one volume, you can keep supplying -v again. Let's say I want to mount here to okay. So this will be, this volume will be mounted. This volume will also be mounted. So it's like right. It will be keep mounting number of volumes in the same shot. All right. So great. Thank you so much and have fun tonight. Thanks a lot. This is my signature. Okay, I don't know. Maybe. Goodbye and have fun. So I'm ending this stream now.